Greetings, third graders. I'm Mr. Budnack.
And I am Mrs. Wzientek.
And we are your friendly band and orchestra teachers. And we're here today to teach you about some of the instruments. Your teachers, your general music teachers, have already talked to you and showed you some of the instruments, but we also want to let you know some of the choices for if you want to join band or orchestra next year. So Mrs. Wzientek is going to start out by showing you some of the orchestra instruments.
So I am going to be the orchestra teacher. So if you are interested in playing violin, viola, cello, or bass, I will be your teacher. So let's get started with showing instruments. This is a violin. This is the highest sounding instrument in the orchestra, and it sounds like this. So this is the violin. The next instrument is the viola. So this is super similar to the violin, except for this one's a little bit bigger. It's the second highest instrument in the orchestra, and it sounds like this. Again, this is the viola. This next instrument is the cello. This one is the second lowest sounding. This is one that you sit and play, and it sounds like this. Again, this is the cello. And then the last instrument is the bass. This is the biggest instrument in the orchestra and also the lowest sounding. And the bass sounds like this. And again, this is the bass. All four of these instruments come in different sizes based on how big or how small you are. So this is a quarter size bass. Yep, this is a quarter size bass. So this is one of the smallest basses that you will see. And this is good for anybody who's up to about this tall. So you can be about this tall and play bass. And we've got a couple other sizes as well. So these are the instruments of the orchestra. And I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Budnack for the band instruments.
Thank you, Mrs. Wzientek. Love those stringed instruments. So I'm Mr. Budnack. I teach the band. So band are things that you blow into or things that you hit. So the first thing I want to show you is the clarinet. This is what a clarinet looks like. This is what it sounds like. It's part of the woodwind family. You use a reed, you blow into it, a great instrument. So that is the clarinet. Next up, very much like the clarinet, we have the saxophone. So the saxophone, you have a strap that goes around your neck, so it takes off some of the weight. And just like a clarinet, it's got a very similar mouthpiece with a piece of wood, and it's a woodwind instrument. out of brass. Next up, we're going to take a look at a flute. This is a flute. It's silver, it's shiny, it's the flute, also part of the woodwind family. This is one that you blow into over the edge. Kind of if you ever take a soda can and you blow hoo into it, it'll get the same kind of sound for the flute. So that is the flute. Now part of the brass family. This is a trumpet. So this is what a trumpet sounds like. So unlike woodwinds, where you have a reed to make the sound, or a flute where you blow over it like this, a brass instrument, we make a spitty farty sound like this. And that's how you make the sound on a trumpet and some of the other instruments I'm going to show you. Next up, we've got the baritone. So the baritone, or euphonium, this one, it plays kind of like a trumpet, but it sounds more like a trombone. It's very low. Some people call it the baby tuba. So this is the euphonium, or the baritone. Next up, we've got a trombone. This is the only instrument that you can do this. Use a slide instead of the buttons or the valves to make different sounds. So here's what a trombone sounds like. So that is a trombone. Again, it has a slide, and it uses the same mouthpiece as a baritone. They sound very similar, except a trombone is a little brighter, more cutting, and the baritone is a little more warm and lovely. Next, we have the granddaddy of brass instruments. This is the tuba. This is the biggest instrument in the band you can play. It's really not that heavy. Please don't ever throw a tuba. But here's what a tuba will sound like if you like those nice low sounds. So that's a tuba. If you like big and bold and being a foundation of the band, the tuba could be the instrument for you. We have one more to show you on the band side. And that's the drums. So this is what a drum pad looks like if you play in the percussion section. And what you do is you take the sticks and you beat on it. So that's the pad part. That's how we learn how to play different things like the snare drum and rhythms on the pad. Now, if you decide to play percussion, you would get a bell kit, which would have this, and would also have this. These are the bells, and they usually have a convertible stand that I can take this off and throw it to Mrs. Wzientek. Good catch.
Thanks, I got scared for a second.
All those fine motor skills from playing the violin. Alrighty, and so the bells go on like this. So that would be if you were part of the percussion or drums. So I believe that is all the instruments, right, Mrs. Wzientek?
It sure is.
We hope that all of you will take an instrument next year in 4th grade. We're looking forward to meeting you all. Anything else you'd like to say, Mrs. Wzientek?
No, I look forward to meeting you guys too, and I can't wait to have you guys in orchestra.
Woohoo! We can't wait. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.
Bye.